So when I was first starting off in the whole social media marketing world, the number one thing I always struggled with was sort of figuring out what niche or what industry to work in, just because, you know, you got hundreds to choose from. And the struggle with me was I was always hopping between sort of one niche to another, and I was just going to 101 different industries and, you know, pitching them the same way. And yeah, I struggled signing my first client for a little while. So that's something I want to help you guys, because I'm sure there's somebody out there that's probably struggling. Oh, I fixed it. There's probably somebody out there that's struggling with the same thing as I did. So that's exactly what this video is all about, sort of the best niche in social media marketing. I forgot to add one very important part. Better. Cool, before we get into the actual video, by the way, that, I don't know if it's focused on that. Anyway, that's my Facebook group. I'm building up a community basically of everybody that's in social media marketing. It's pretty cool. There's sort of daily posts on there, everyone's interacting. I'm just sort of giving tips and helping each other out. I'll leave the link below to the group. Yeah. Anyway, for this video, I've written down a couple of things sort of on my notes to help you understand of sort of how to figure out what the best niche in social media marketing is. So the whole reason for this video is because, you know, from my story, when I first started, I never watched a video like this, which I wish I could have, because it would have saved me so much time. But yeah, I was just sort of going from any industry. You know, I was going from gyms to chiropractors to dentists to auto traders, like everyone, I mean. So yeah, you know, my mindset was, the more people I go speak to, the more clients I will sign up, the more money I'll earn. In theory, yes, but not quite how it works in social media marketing. Now, in theory, even if you did sign all of these clients, that would be the worst thing you could do for your agency. So, I mean, think about it. Imagine you have a client here that is a gym, for example, and you're getting them clients to come to the gym. And then you have another client here, which is maybe an e-commerce client where you're selling stuff online for them. They are completely different. This one, you need to physically get people to come into their store or their gym, right? And this one, you're selling physical products. The campaigns would be completely different. The ad copy would be different. The audience would be different. So at the end of the day, you're doing twice the work. Whereas imagine about this. Imagine you had two gyms or two of the same niche, right? You'd be basically doing the same ads, but just, you know, changing the business name and the picture, because you'd be doing ads under their account. But at the end of the day, you're doing sort of half of the work, but you're getting paid the same. So that's something you need to keep in mind. And, you know, it goes further than just sort of the ads are different. You know, the outreach would be completely different. For a local business, the outreach would be completely different to maybe an e-commerce client, where you probably physically won't ever see them in person. You'd either have to do email or a Loom video and then email that to them. You know, that's just outreach. And then if you physically have the meeting with them, again, if it's a local business, you have the ability to go in there and have a chat with them, and they see you and you build sort of rapport with them that way. Whereas if it's an e-commerce or, you know, a client that you won't ever even see in person, it's completely different, because now you've got to do a Zoom meeting or some sort of a different call. Another great thing, if you have the same sort of niche and you're talking to the same people in your industry, you know, you're having meetings with them, over time, you'll understand better what sort of objections are coming up from them, because they will all have similar objections to your service or the thing that you're offering. Not only that, you know, pricing would probably be all similar as well, depending on the size of their business, of course. But the pricing structure is probably going to be the same. You know, you wouldn't price, again, going back to the same sort of scenario, a gym, the same service fee as you would an e-commerce that's perhaps making, I don't know, 100 to 300,000 pounds a month, whereas a gym is maybe making around 50 to 100K a month. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, most of you are watching this because you want to find out sort of the best niche for social media marketing. I'm sorry to break it to you, but there isn't one. There just simply isn't just one niche that everybody can flock to and it's just the best one. You know, there's loads of different ones that have its pros and cons, but don't worry, I've written up a quick list of the best niches for sort of starters and beginners in the whole social media marketing world. And the main reason why these are for beginners and sort of the people that are starting off is because you have the ability to actually go in there and meet them in person. The power of that is ridiculous compared to like a Zoom call or like an email or even a phone call. You know, when you see somebody in person, you build a trust with them straight away. You know, they will trust you more if you go into their dentistry or their office or whatever it is. I don't know why I said dentistry. But if you go into their office physically and they get to see you and, you know, you present yourself in a good way, they will build trust with you straight away. So anyway, here's the list. In no particular order, I've got written down gyms, restaurants, estate agents, dentists, beauty places, and car dealerships. Now the first two, if you're watching this in March, April, or basically any of 2020, don't worry about gyms and restaurants just because we're in a fucking lockdown and a quarantine. But if you're watching this in 2021, it's all good, it's all good. So yeah, you know, gym's always going to need people, restaurants always going to need new customers to come in and eat. Estate agents, they're always going to need new viewings for their properties. Then we've got dentists, you know, they're always going to have new people coming in or reoccurring ones to market for them. Beauty places, I don't know too much about that. Obviously, I'm not really some like next beauty expert, but I've just heard a lot of people have been doing that sort of niche and it's working well for them. And then the last one on the list, we have got car dealerships. And that's actually the one that I want to touch on mainly, not in this video to be honest, on the next one. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to do a video, I think maybe tomorrow or the day after, on all about why car dealerships are sort of the best ones for beginners / intermediate. Of course, in my opinion, once again, there is no like a best niche or industry, but I do have some good reasons on why I think car dealerships are one of the best ones to start off with. But yeah, like I said, that will be on the next video. But how do you personally, watching this video, can figure out sort of what the best niche is for you? Now, the best thing that I can say to you is what are like your hobbies and what are you into in general? Now, the reason why I ask that is because whatever niche you choose to go with, you need to have a lot of knowledge in that niche or industry. So yeah, you need to know a lot about the industry that you're going into. Now, here's the reason why. Now, cold calling and cold emailing and messaging, all of that part is easy. You don't need to know anything about that industry. But as soon as that person replies to you and you actually book in a follow-up meeting or a discovery call, etc., when you're talking to that business owner, you need to at least pretend or, you know, come across like you know everything about their industry. Now, how you can do that is by mentioning these key words and sort of slang that their business and industry does. Now, let me give you an example, okay? So if you're pitching, say, real estate agents and you're going into a meeting with them, like the words viewing, first-time buyers, what are the other ones? I forgot. Like probate sale, all to do with mortgages, all of this stuff. If you really sort of talk to them about things like that, they really make a connection with you more than the next person that will come in and try and pitch their service. Does that make sense? Not that you can talk to me through the camera, but I hope that makes sense. So for example, with me, if you're going into car dealerships, you need to know a lot about cars. Well, you don't necessarily have to know a lot about cars. Like for me, I'm not the expert in cars, but you know, I have a great knowledge in cars and sort of the makes, etc., and how much cars go for and things like that. So when you have knowledge in these things, you get an upper hand of the next person that comes in and tries to pitch them for the same service, like I said. So yeah, to pick a niche that you sort of want to stay with and work with, it definitely would be one that you're already interested in and you know a lot of stuff about. Any hobbies that you do, any clubs that you attend, anything like that would be a great place to start. So yeah, that will be it for this video. It's a quick one, but I just really wanted to go over sort of the picking your niche, etc. for the beginners. Because if I watched a video like this when I was starting off, it would have saved me a lot of time. So just before I go, I wanted to mention about the Facebook group that I'm building up at the moment. It's a really, really great community for social media marketers. It's primarily aimed for beginners / the more intermediate people. You know, we've got daily posts in there. We're helping people out sort of every single day. And yeah, it's a great community. So if you would like to join it, the link is down below on the first line. Other than that, my guys, yeah, that's it. I'm out.